Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Sasan Show. I follow a lot of fitness content coaches on Instagram and YouTube, and honestly, most of them are using their platform to sell something, a supplement, a coaching program, or even a fitness retreat. But my guest today, Prashanti Ganesh, is different. She uses her platform to genuinely help people. She talks about building sustainable, long term practical tools that actually work for you. She's been coaching for over 10 years, and she's also the founder of Ladies Club, a training space built to support and empower women through strength. Prashanti, welcome to the Sasan Show.
Thank you.
So, Prashanti, my first question to you is I don't think people lack awareness, Prashanti. I think everybody knows that exercise is important, but they're not able to build that habit. They're not able to exercise in the long term. What are the factors that hold people back, number one? And what are some of the barriers to entry that you see?
Right. I think one of the factors is that the fitness industry makes it seems like there are many things one needs to do to seek fitness and seek physical health. There is a lot of you need to do this and this and this to do this and this and this. And I don't think that's true. As somebody who coached that way when I first started my career to say, oh, you need to train 3 days a week. Every session needs to be this hard. Every session needs to be 60 minutes minimum. You need to eat protein. At that point, I think you need to eat protein within 30 minutes. And then you need to eat protein, enough protein. I think there are so many rules. Don't train if you don't sleep enough. Don't train if you've not eaten enough. Listen to your body. Sometimes the body lies, and feelings are not facts. So I think the more we break it down to see what of those rules apply to us and reconsider those rules to just be um, the fitness industry trying to stay relevant, and see what exactly of that applies to us and find out what we can practically and logistically and sustainably do for a long time and keep repeating it for a long time, and also it's fun for us, right? If something is not fun, and I think a lot of people still view exercise as punishment, but it doesn't need to be that serious. It's just exercise, it's just gym. So, how do we do lesser? How do we figure out what works for us and what makes most sense for our context and our goals? Then it just becomes easier to do it over a long time.
In a sense, what you're saying is lower the bar, do what is possible, and keep at it in the long term.
Pretty
Is
much.
so when you started the ladies club, was some of this the reasons that you started the ladies club? Was some of this thinking there?
I started Ladies Club for two reasons. One, actually, three reasons. One is that I ran another gym, Strength System, which we started in 2015, and I think that gym scaled to a certain level that it became more about the business of things and not so much the coaching. So I think in the last 4 or 5 years of running that business, because I had a team, there was an operations team, there was a coaching team, we had an internship program, it became so much more a managerial role than a coach. And that's not why I got into the fitness industry, not to be a manager. And I was also not interested in things like scaling, like starting a second location was never what I wanted to do, because then you're just pushing yourself deeper into a management role. And that's not fun for me. That's not why I started coaching. So I had to take a step back and say, why am I so unhappy? And I realized it's because I wasn't growing as a coach. So I took a year off, and then Ladies Club is just, I don't have a team, it's just me. And the only thing I focus on is coaching. I don't have an operations team. I handle everything and I keep it like the happiest part of my life is that I don't have to email anybody or not do any meetings. Like I've not used the word EOD in like many years, and I love that. And I think the
So when I
second,
was doing my research on you, the first thing I said is let me stalk her on LinkedIn and see what kind of content is going out on LinkedIn. And I realized you don't really have anything on
it
LinkedIn.
probably
So
says 2011 journalist at Indian Express or something like that.
it said founder strength systems, but yeah, yeah.
So that wasn't me. That was probably my co-founder. I don't know how to use LinkedIn.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and the other thing is like one of the things you said in my introduction is you said I started Ladies Club to empower women. I started Ladies Club to so many of those things, right? I don't remember the exact words, but I don't think any of that is true. I'm not here to empower women. I'm not here to um, make women feel safe. None of that stuff, right? I mean, all of that is an outcome. I'm happy with that, but I think women are a very underserved population in terms of coaching expertise. And I've seen this a lot, especially with the women who come to me. They'll be like, "Oh, you have to build your way up to lifting with a barbell. You have to you have to do knee push-ups before you can work on a regular push-up." And so much of expertise is lost in that translation, I think. And so I'm just here to offer a really good coaching service to to women. And my final reason is I really don't want to coach men. That's it. And I don't think women need to be coached differently at all. I coach women just the way I would coach men, maybe slightly better because it's more fun for me. But as an expertise, I don't think women are served very well. Yeah.
So I'd like to now talk about an Instagram post that you did, which I really, really liked. So it said, the first slide of the post said, 2025 is ending in 4 months, and this is what you can do to get your health back on track. I was very excited. I said, yes, now I'm going to find out what's been holding me back. So I go to the second slide and it says, absolutely nothing special. Long-term, practical, sustainable tools are far better than anything that you can pack into 4 months. And I can't tell you how much that resonated with me. Yeah, I've been working out for a long time, but even I looked at their hook and I was like, all right, I'm going to learn something new that I've been missing. And I can't tell you that message is so important. And I hope, more people can resonate with that and more people kind of start thinking like that. But my question to you is, are some of the tools that have worked for you in the long run? And what are some of these tools that you've seen that have worked for the people that you coach?
In terms of tools, do you mean to keep training sustainable, fun, and long term?
Yes, 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 yes.
I know you're a big fan of Dan John, and one of the things that Dan John talks a lot about, and I've adopted very early on into my lifting and coaching career, is the idea of a park bench and a bus bench
Yes.
approach to training. And he says, when you're like for a long time in life, you want to switch between the park bench and the bus bench. And even with my own training, that's something that's worked really well. Every year, for like a total of like 12 to 16 weeks, and that's through the entire year. For a total of 12 to 16 weeks, I train really hard. And then the rest of the year, I'm just cruising between these hard weeks.
Okay.
And I find that when I apply this to coaching largely also, so the idea of the park bench and the bus bench is that when you're sitting on a park bench, there's no urgency,
Not
there's
waiting
no
for a
goal.
bus.
You're
Yeah.
not waiting for a bus. Like things are chill. You have time to just cruise. You're just sitting on a bench and enjoying nature, catching up with a friend, whatever. There's no sense of emergency. There's no goal. There's no purpose. Whereas on a bus bench, there is a purpose, right? So I think splitting the training year sort of very approximately into like a park bench and a bus bench and somewhat intuitively planning for it, right? The holidays are not a good time to do like a bus bench program. The monsoon is not a good time to do a bus bench program. Everybody's going to be sick. Everybody's caring for their kids, whatever. So vaguely, like especially in my coaching career, I've seen like March, April is a good time to train hard, and then cruise rest of the year, and then August, September-ish is a good time to train hard, and then cruise rest of the year. And this is similar to what it's how I plan my own programming too. And I think I love training hard. I hate easy workouts. I find them extraordinarily boring. And that's just my personality. But even within that, right now, I know historically, if a workout is too easy, I'm not going to do it. So I think also catering to what makes one find training fun is also very important. If somebody just likes to train hard, I would just like right now I don't do more than 3 exercises a day. Like a workout ends in like 45 minutes and I'm just doing 3 lifts, but I'm doing those 3 lifts really hard. And I've just removed all the fluff. So and I would think about it similarly to everybody. Like I said, there are no rules to fitness. Find out what makes it fun for you. Find out what makes it repeatable for you. Find out what allows you to stay in the game for long. And this can mean anything for anybody. For some people, it's that they need to train alone. For some people, it's that they need to train in a group. For some people, it's that they need a coach. For some people, it's that they don't need somebody hovering over them all the time. They just need a plan. So I think people just using their own track record to figure out what does my personality need, what does my life circumstances need, what can I afford, what is most repeatable and fun for me. Like just using their own track record to figure out sort of like a formula for themselves, and then going to a coach or a program that's offering them what they want. Like if somebody comes to me and says, "Can you help me with body weight training?" I'm going to be like, "No, I don't do that." But if somebody comes to me and says, Can you help me figure out how to use barbells?" I'll be like, "Sure." So if somebody wants barbell training, come to me. But if somebody wants body weight training or bodybuilding or something that is fun for them, but it's not something that I don't offer as a coach, find somebody that's like, don't go to somebody who's not giving you what you want and then complain that they're not a good coach.
So one tool that's really worked for me is it's more than training. It's a nutrition based tool which has really worked for me. Is just making sure that on Saturday or Sunday I buy chicken breasts, Greek yogurt. If I bought my chicken breasts and Greek yogurt on Saturday or Sunday, then I know that week my protein intake is fairly sorted, and then that's one less thing for me to worry about. So that as a tool really works for me. Then coming to the other thing that you said, okay, so I am privileged enough to be able to afford a cook. So now I have my raw materials, my cook comes in, so my protein intake for the week is sorted just by the act or just by buying groceries. So that is something that's worked for me. In the nutrition space, is there something you do which has kind of worked for you? Because while exercise and nutrition are different, they're also linked together.
Even though I'm nutrition certified, I stopped
Okay.
nutrition coaching in 2019 because beyond a point, what I realized was that being a nutrition coach just meant you're getting paid to be somebody's personal assistant, and that wasn't fun for me. And so now I just tell people, if you want to work on nutrition, hire a nutritionist who went to college for this stuff and not like did like a weekend certification. And I have like a community of nutritionists that outsource that part of the coaching too, and it's just not something I talk about as part of my practice. If somebody comes in and says they've not eaten enough, I just auto regulate the workout for that day. I always have snacks at my gym, so I'm making sure my women are well fed. But other than that, I think, and this is also something it's a post I've written in the recent past where I don't try to control variables I have no control over. So sleep, nutrition, stress, life, all of those things are variables that definitely affect the training, but those are not variables I can control. So if somebody is not slept well, if somebody is not eaten well, if somebody is stressed, I still have them come in because doing some amount of training is better than doing no training, but I just adjust the program to meet them where they're at. So that's how I control the variable I can control, which is training.
Okay, we move on now. So, the fitness world today, everybody is trying to sell something to you. Some of the stuff that's being sold is a fad, some of it is a gimmick, and frankly, some of it is just BS. How can the people listening to this be able to figure out what is something which is worth investing on or buying, and what is something that's absolute BS?
I think anytime
Because
somebody,
everybody is a great storyteller.
yeah, I think anytime somebody speaks in absolutes, saying this is
Okay.
the only way to do it, or this is the best way to do it, or my way is the best way, or and also sort of like saying the rest of the fitness industry doesn't know what they're talking about. They haven't done this. So anybody who's sort of alienating what a majoritarian view is and saying, look at me, I'm so special. Look at what my method is, it's so special. I think that immediately can be what the kids would call a red flag. But yeah, just like anybody who says, like if you ask any good coach, right, they'll be like, can I do animal flow? It depends. Can I eat protein within 30 minutes? It depends. Like anybody who's able to contextualize things to make it sense for you. Should I do mobility training? It depends. Should I do powerlifting? It depends. Should I have protein versus vegan? I mean, whey protein? It depends. And what it depends on is so many things. And anybody who's able to see a spectrum of all of these variables that need to influence a decision, I think those are safer options, as opposed to somebody saying plant protein is better than whey protein, or you must have BCAAs, whatever. I don't know what is popular these days.
Worst form is possibly when people say you must have the supplement that I'm selling.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that's happened historically, right? It's not a new thing. Like in the Facebook days, it was athletic greens, and this is something we spoke before. I mean, on our first call, that animal flow has existed in so many fashions before. It's not unique. It's just unique to this this snapshot of time. It will evolve to be something else. It was movement back in the day. And all of these guys are just trying to make money from selling something that's something too unique. But I think in the end, what they're doing is just limiting the potential for what people can do. And I think that's just something for the fitness industry to think about as what we are offering to the people we are working with, and also for consumers to think about what it is that they want to get away from seeking fitness. Like, what is the need to get good at these things? Like, it's just exercise that allows us to live the rest of our lives well. So we don't gain
You
much
keep
from.
you keep talking about that. Let's get into that. Why do you use that line as often as you do? And what does it really mean?
It really annoys me when like there's so much pressure on people to do fitness well. Like, it's hard enough for people to do fitness. What do we gain from doing it well? Evidence based question.
Okay.
Not much. Like, a good squat is not. I think other than like a morality attached to it, I don't think there's much more to like improving on fitness. Like, can you improve by making it like less hard on yourself to seek help? Sure. But then what is this need to keep getting better in the gym? Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't mean like don't get better in the gym in the sense don't get stronger, don't do the things that you want to do. But like, I think there is so much weight on technique and form and like just rules that are very arbitrary, that it sort of just gets in the way of actually people getting better. Like, you have your plank has to look this way, or like some certifications would say, here are 12 steps to doing a kettlebell overhead press. Bro, take the press, pull it overhead, bring it back down. That's it, right? So, and if you're able to do that well with a certain weight, go to the next weight. That's it. And what is the need to say your hand has to be here? You can't start here. Those things are just arbitrary and unnecessary, and I think that takes away a lot of the focus from what people can focus on to get better.
Yeah. Okay. So I was talking to a friend and I was telling her that, I'm going to be speaking to Prashanti. And my friend said, well, if you're speaking to Prashanti, you have to ask her about pull-ups. Uh, so for those of you listening, please go and check Prashanti's Instagram out. There's a video where she's doing pull-ups. The person counting the reps is getting tired, but Prashanti is going at it like it's just, like the video is on loop or something like that. So Prashanti, the first question is, how do people get their first pull-up? And I know your answer is going to start with it depends, but yes.
I think that really is. It really depends on what your
Of
starting
course.
point is, and I
Of
think the
course, of
fitness
course, of course
industry.
it does. Of course it
And
does. So many factors, but I'm still putting the ball in your
I think a realistic and honest view at what our starting point is. And at at ladies club, I tell people once they're able to approximately do like 2 to 3 sets of 10-ish push-ups that look somewhat like good push-ups, then they probably have the strength. And what I really mean by that is, by now their upper body has enough tissue resilience to start working towards like a pull-up. But I also sneak in other things. Like, I would never willingly program a hang, but you will see like a hanging leg raise on my program.
Okay,
Um,
so you don't program hangs.
no, I think they're boring as hell.
Okay, okay, okay,
But then you'll also see like an inverted row on my program. You'll also
okay.
see. So I'm trying to figure out how to teach them the mechanics that loosely translate to performing a pull-up, while they're still getting ready to do a pull-up. And you'll know when somebody's able to generate enough tension, when somebody's able to move their body as one unit well. And I say this without using the word core. Um, uh, then you'll know, okay, this person. And then depending on where it is that their specific context needs technique work, I would program like a negative or a banded pull up. Or some people are better with volume work, some people are better with mid-range work, some people are better with negatives. So to sum it up, it depends. And
All
I think
right.
this is what I hate about the way the fitness industry says, here is step one, here is step two, here is step three. Sorry, good for you, but I hope you make money from that.
Okay, okay. So the next thing I'd like to ask you is, so when I was, doing my research and we spoke about Coach Dan John, I saw a photo of you and Dan John, And first, for starters, I was extremely jealous. I'm like a big fan, listen to a lot of his all his podcasts pretty much. What are some of his takeaways that you have been able to imbibe, either in training and more importantly in life? Because I think there's a lot of life stuff that also coach talks about.
Uh, it's a hard question. It's not something I've thought about. I mean, I think Dan John is somebody I started learning from very early on in life, and I think his ability to take something really complex and simplify it and contextualize it for some person, and really just focus on the basics. Like he'll say stuff like, "Put on your seatbelt, don't smoke, and if you're not doing these things, don't worry about like taking BCWs, right?" So he's like, "Is your car clean? Does your fuel tank have enough petrol?" Like these are the things he's talking about, and he's
Are
like
you
do these.
flossing?
Are you flossing? Yeah, like like do the like I think like just goes back to his big philosophy that do the basics well, and a lot of the times, and you I think it's very fashionable now to say, oh, when you're tired and when you're returning, when you're getting back to track. I hate when people say getting back to track, right? It's life. What are you getting back to track from? It's a break. It's part of the human experience. That they'll go back to the basics. Like, why stray from the basics? Let's just stick to the
Yeah.
basics forever and ever and ever. And I think Dan John um, lives that lifestyle really well. Yeah.
One of the take-home messages from Dan John for me is embrace the obvious. While it probably sounds so obvious, but so many times we don't do it. And then he goes on to say, runners run, jumpers jump, throwers throw.
Goes through, yeah.
Yeah, duh, don't we all know that runners run, jumpers jump, throwers throw? But for a lot of us, in not only in fitness, in every area of life, we tend to stray away from the most important thing. Even at work, sometimes we just tend to stray away from the most important core thing that we have to do. I think that is his take-home message that I just you know whenever I get a chance, whenever I'm looking at life, I always try to say, am I embracing the obvious, or is there something that's that I'm missing? So Prashanti, now I would like to ask you, if you were given like this massive hammer and you could shatter one myth, okay, that exists in the strength and conditioning world or in the fitness world, what is that one myth that you would like to kind of shatter?
I think that the basics of exercise physiology and biomechanics would change depending on who the person is. Like, there's like senior training, women training, kids training. I mean, LDAD is different, but like just a lot of these things, like the human body is the same, whether prenatal, postnatal, menopausal, now perimenopausal. Like a lot of these things are just an outcome of capitalism, raging capitalism, and just ways for people to. And recently, I saw somebody said lesbians can't build muscle the same way as uh, hetero people, and then a coach got called homophobic for calling that out, because you're then now targeting an already vulnerable group and trying to profit off them, which is not true. All human bodies are the same. The only thing that would change is how load management, graded exposure, movement variability, that stuff would stay constant irrespective of who this person is. So I would coach my pregnant woman the same way I coach a non-pregnant woman, the same way I would coach a younger woman, the same way I would coach an older woman, the same way I would coach a perimenopausal woman or a menopausal woman or a postmenopausal woman. So, or a man versus a woman. So I think that's something like to look at yourself and say, I'm not a special snowflake. Don't sell this to me. Give me good science. And for a coach to say, you're not special, just do like let's do the basics well and let's do it forever and we'll still benefit from that than me profiting off you like you're somebody special.
Like you said earlier, capitalism. So if I was to say that, I can't charge extra. But if I want to make more money, then I have to say, hey, this is for left-handers who like test cricket. This workout works. So
Pretty
you've got to
much.
find that. I mean, what you just said was crazy. Yeah,
But I think there is some value to true technical expertise when it comes to elite athletes, right? I think
of course.
yeah, so there might be like some something to say about like an expert coach who works with like fast bowlers. And I don't coach athletes, so I don't know. But to your point about how you make more money, honestly, I've not made more money after I stopped doing nutrition coaching. Right? You would think it's an easy add-on, but no, it's just allowed me to focus really well on the one thing that I do really well. And I've just learned about that and gotten better. So it's like I've now removed the distractions and I do the one thing I do really well and I keep getting better at it. And Hey, guess what? It's made me a more successful coach.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Prashanti, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think that was very, very knowledgeable. I enjoyed our conversation and I hope you had fun too.
I did.
For those of you listening to this, I'm going to be linking Prashanti's Instagram in the show notes. And
I'm a
I
LinkedIn.
Oh no, not your LinkedIn, not your LinkedIn. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to be in the show notes. The show notes will have her Instagram. You can go and follow her. And if you like this conversation, please subscribe to the Shasan Show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.